Whoops. Okay, I guess we're probably going. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy my content, which, you might. Before I get started, I am showing you here is Arsenal Fullmetal Superhero Book 1. It's my premiere superhero series, and it's currently on sale at 99 cents. So grab it, enjoy. Thousands of people have. I think I've sold somewhere in the neighborhood of 25,000 copies of Arsenal, which is pretty cool for a kid like me. And then my second series, the one I did the 24-hour live stream on, Write a Book in 24 Hours, is Wraith, The Wraith, Apex Predator, Superhero by Night Book 5. So that's $4.99. You pick that up. It's 55,000 words of awesome. And of course, there's 4 books before it. If you haven't read all of those, you can pick up all 4 books and read those and enjoy. And then I can hit the wrong button. And yeah, so I've been working on a lot of projects that require oh, cool, my biggest fan purchased a poster. Cool. We're working on a lot of projects that were required non-disclosure agreements, so I haven't been streaming. And while this, writing is my passion, so that's what I do. I'll stream when I can. And so I've been doing like comic reviews and a little bit of gaming here and there. This week I have spent using Plottr, which is a really cool program, Plottr, to outline a new superhero book I am using as an experiment to see if I can plot with it. And that's called Take a Stand, Superheroes Don't Give Up, Book 1. And you'll notice all my superhero books have superhero in the title for a reason. Excuse me. Just because I don't want anybody to be mistaken that it's a superhero book. So I do everything I can to reassure people that yes, you are in fact getting a superhero book. Alrighty, so today I am playing Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. And we are figuring it out. There's a new thing called a patron that I've never used before, and so I just figured I would give it a shot, see what I needed to do, and go from there. Uh-oh. Torm's Favor. Right, who do I want this to go to? I just did a thing called the Time Gate where I got catty breeding. And so I am having to decide. Oh, that's hardly any. Sounds like Helms is probably the worst to get favor for, so we're going to go him. Okay, so this is a new character I got. Her name is Orkira. Orkira. Okay. Anyway, so she's a healer, war mage kind of thing. And I got all these cool little familiars who do cool little things for me. Really like. So usually what I do is I try to put them on useful tasks, like got them clicking for me right away, and then also got them leveling the first 2 champions right away. Hey, you already got ruby coins. Cool. I actually don't know what the patron does for me. I'm assuming it's a buff of some kind, which is fine with me. I am okay with that. Happy to have the buff. And let me close a few things here. Alright, so here we go. Now, I have been playing with... Oh, I can't use him. Cool, okay. I have been playing with a lot of mages and melee of late. It's looking like I can't use anybody who might be evil. I didn't think he was evil. Is he evil? He's lawful neutral. How about him? Chaotic neutral. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, he's not neutral evil. So he doesn't like neutral people? Oh, I guess so. I guess he doesn't like neutral people. Okay, take a stand. Alright, so I've got to find other characters to use. So I was going mages, but now it looks like I'm probably going to end up going melee on this one because the because of the specific requirements of Merc the Mindlender, which is fine. I don't necessarily need good timing. I don't necessarily need to go mage just to be powerful here. She goes there. She goes there. And he's gonna go. Come on. Cool, Torm's favor already. Okay, he's gonna go there. As soon as I can get her, I will. Oh, she's a mage. Okay. Normally I go like with all the fighters up front. I know it's like classic, right? Oh, I'm so shocked, Jeff. You go with the fighters up front. Okay, I'm gonna do that one because I have a feeling we're gonna get pretty heavily into the healing here. But yeah, this is just a fun little time wasting game. I mean, it really is. I mean, like it's not like a game that requires. I mean, I've seen people play this game while they're making tea, and you know, it's just it's fun to watch. Don't ask me why. I think part of it is that they got a great hit with the feel of it. It feels so much like D&D that there really is no. It's just a lot of fun to watch because you get these characters who some of them you recognize, and we also don't have a lot of D&D games. I mean, don't ask me why there aren't tons of D&D video games. There used to be. They used to make them, and they all were great in the 80s. The TSR games, the gold box, silver box games, fantastic games. And then I don't know what happened, and Wizards of the Coast has never managed to make a decent D&D game ever. I think BioWare made Neverwinter Nights, which was okay. I remember not really liking it at the time. Didn't feel like D&D because of the way that they made everything feel more action, more Diablo-esque. But I do remember loving the DM mode. I spent a lot of time doing trade here. I spent a lot of time doing building dungeons for my friends and running them through it. That was always a lot of fun. But I didn't care too much for. I didn't care too much for the game mechanics itself. I also, and then there was Temple of Elemental Evil, which I played, which was and then there was what else was there? I'm trying to remember the D&D games. No, everything after the Gold Box games just kind of. I just had my thingy here. Everything after the Gold Box games just sort of died, and they just weren't that great. Which is really a shame because those old TSR games like Alias and Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 were really good. I haven't played 3, so maybe it's good, though I've I don't know, I'm hesitant to play it. I heard that it was really good up to a point, and lately I feel like that's what I've been getting. I was playing Marvel's Avengers, and the first 4 hours were really great, especially as a super fan like me. Like I understood a lot of the references and things like that, and then all of a sudden it turned into Destiny. And not that Destiny's bad or anything, but I wanted a story, and I got, now here's your mission of the hour, and here's your mission table, and who do you pick to go with you, and oh no, it's, you know, and then you just repeat those missions over and over and over again. Oops, apparently it's not the one I do. And so yeah, so this game is interesting because it's like the formation matters. It's like where you put people in formation. Like if you notice, like when I moved Delilah here, she's my favorite character, by the way, that I have, and this is my second favorite character here. Move Delilah and Faraday. If you change places with them, you'll notice the damage right here. It goes just tanks. And there's effects everybody has, all the characters have on different champions. So if you see her, she has an effect on whoever's here, and she does the most damage of any of my mages. So, boom. And then every time you level them up, you know, they have like little icons here that tell you what kind of ability it is that you're leveling up. And if they're blue, that means I haven't selected them, and I'm probably not going to because they're basic. The farther you are to the right, the more powerful you are, in my opinion. Whew, couldn't have Driz this time. Love Driz. I don't really get too much into the meta. There's some people who just crunch numbers and like, this is the ultimate party upgrade and blah blah blah, and you know, you should do this, and that's cool and all. I mean, I could see getting into that. I got a chest for my last adventure. I can see doing that because, oh cool, is that a shiny? No, it's not a shiny. Nice. I could see doing that if I was really, really, really into the game, but I'm not really, really into the game. I just play it every once in a while, and I was playing Valheim a lot, but then I got sucked into it too much, and my writing suffered, and so I had to cut it cold turkey. Sorry for everybody who plays Valheim now, because I told them to play Valheim. That's what happens. You shouldn't listen to me. And I play ARAM on League of Legends occasionally, because ARAM is something is such that you can just get in and get out. There's no time commitment to it really, other than like 20 minutes. The Summoner's Rift, man, you just either have to accept that you suck with Summoner's Rift, or you have to spend a lot of time getting good at it. And I just don't have time to play games anymore. Not like I used to, anyways. The especially since I've been working so hard on these military sci-fi books, I got about 3/4 of the way through with Grim Resolve and found that I had some serious errors in the book and had to backtrack a little bit. Then ended up pulling out all the subplots and finishing the book without them. And now I'm debating whether to put them back in or not. But I'm going to end up more than likely going back and rewriting the entire subplot with Katarina, because I didn't like how it turned out. But at the same time, I also need to get through book 3, and the reason I decided to go forward and just get through book 3 before moving back to and do the final pass on book 2 was this is going on 1.5 years since I started these books. I really need to finish them. But one of the problems I consistently run into is I don't know where the story is when I start. Because I'm a pantser, right? I pants. That's what I do. And I've written 21 novels that way, 2 of them being 100,000 plus words. And I kept a pretty dedicated Bible for Grimm's War, because I knew they were going to be long books and it was going to be something I wanted to keep track of. However, I just, man, with Grim Resolve, 3 false starts of about 30,000 words each on average. And so it's a 90,000 word book I wrote, trying to figure out the story for Grimm's War. I don't want to go through that again. I don't have the time to go through that again. I've got Simon & Schuster books I'm doing at the end of the year, most likely. They made me a little nervous, saying that, you know, the project was on hold for the moment because the IP holder figured something out, and I'm like, okay, I've already put a lot of work into this, please don't do that to me. Not to mention the fact that I told people that I was writing a certain kind of book. That would be very embarrassing to not end up writing it. Anyways, but I'm sure it'll be fine. My point is, though, is that I can only rely on my writing speed so much, and my writing speed has slowed down as my books have become more complex. Nothing against Arsenal Wraith. Love those books. Love writing them. Love reading them. Love it when I get people who message me and say that they loved it. Those are great. But they're not exactly complex. You know, they're not. I'm point A, point B, point C. And as my writing has gotten better, and because I've dedicated myself to making my writing better, I mean, I work on my craft between every novel, I moved past the point where I can just go on the fly and, you know, fix it later kind of thing. So, and that works for some people. It's just not working for me anymore. So I've been trying to find a way to outline for the last several months, excuse me. And I came across Plotter, and I'm outlining this superhero novel about a teen superhero team. I thought I'd try it out, try the idea out, and it's been great. My daughter's doing some of the art for it, so that'll be fun. I'm either going to write it in a week, or I'm going to write it a chapter a week and put it on Wattpad and sort of draw some people in from Wattpad. What I don't want to do is spend 2 months writing it, because I could start writing it right now, but I'm trying really hard to use Plotter, and I've found the story, and I worked through the problems I was going to have that I would have had, and all this great stuff. So it's been a really useful program for me. And people who plot well already, they probably don't need it, but for pantsers who want to be plotters because they want the ability to go, okay, this is what I'm writing today. Because for me, I don't pants because, like, some people are like, oh, I like the thrill of discovering the story. No, that's not the exciting part for me, because I love story, and I want the story to be great. And the thing is when I'm pantsing, I get into what's called open mode, and open mode is where you're really the most creative, right? Some people call it flow state, but I like open mode because that's what John Cleese uses. That's the terminology he uses. And in open mode, you're playing. You're what a thing. You're a little kid again. I love the feeling. I love the ideas. I love it all. And I hated outlining because I can never get into open mode. I'm in closed mode when I outline. And closed mode is like your engineering brain. It's what you're using to figure out, what you're using to problem solve, right? You're using your engineering brain to problem solve. And let's see here, where did she go? Oh, there she is. And you're using your engineering brain. I like her too. She's pretty cool. Tieflings, I guess I like. Art's really good too. So in closed mode, you're using your engineering brain to problem solve, right? And when you're problem solving, you're not coming up with things. You're not being creative. And so the big problem there is that you kind of like, oh, I'm going to go for the low-hanging fruit every single time. And that's no good. You don't want that. You don't want the low-hanging fruit. You want the unique stuff. And so when I was coming up with like this teen team, that's not their name, by the way. That's just my shorthand for remembering what they're about. Because it's a stupid name, I wouldn't use that. I think I'm gonna call them Warriors, Teen Warriors or something like that. But anyways, so I came up with a story. The first story I came up with, put the team together. By the time I got halfway through the outlining process, I realized I had the characters down pat, but the story was crap. And so I threw it all out and started over and realized that the story was in the backstory of one of the characters. One of the characters is an alien. Hiding on Earth. And so I was like, bam, there's the story right there. And it just all came together like magic, like lightning. And I love that. And that's why I love pantsing, is that feeling, that creativeness. And so the thing I didn't like about plotting was plotting never felt creative. It felt like work. It felt like, here's a problem, you have to solve it. Use your intellectual brain to solve it. Well, creativity isn't about intellectual brain. It's about creativity. It's about being a little kid. It's about being 12 years old and being the DM and going, oh, and you walk through that door and there's a nuclear bomb. I hated that stuff, but some DMs did that. But my point is that open mode is where you get your best ideas at. Open mode is where you get the most creativity at. And if you don't have open mode, then you're not being creative. You're just regurgitating ideas that are the first ones that pop up in your head. Excuse me. So, using Plotter and this book called The Snowflake Method, I have been working toward a way to outline and still be creative, which is really important to me. And so at the point where I'm going to be done with the outline for Take a Stand tomorrow, and which is book 1 of the Superheroes Don't Quit, it'll be great. And I could literally probably sit down, go through and write the book in however many days divided by, however many words the book is going to be divided by 10. So if it's going to be 80,000 words, I could write it in 8 days, because I think I can do 10,000 days. Because I know exactly how every scene is going to play out. I know the goal of every scene. I know what the characters want. I know what the characters need. I know it all. I've always said that your book really shines when you know what your characters want, but there's more to it than just knowing what your characters want. What do your villains want? What does the story want? What is the goal of every scene that you're writing? And instead of having to come up with that while I'm writing it, I'm coming up with it all beforehand, and it's friggin' fantastic. I love it. I can only use her. Okay, that's it. Party's full. Probably replace her with Melf when I can use Melf, because it's Melf. I mean, come on, it's Melf. Look at him. He's BA. Besides, I don't want to use any of these other people. Well, Arcan's pretty cool, but I really like my tank setup I've got right now. I got a Paladin, Paladin, and a Fighter. Those are some good tanks right there. I don't understand why there's Paladins use two-handed weapons. It's just weird to me. I got 2 Clerics. Yeah, keeping them alive. It's going good. It's going good. I like it. Didn't seem to affect anybody's DPS. That's alright. And then I got this little fairy here going around and activating people's ults, which I think is hilarious. Where was I? So anyways, so next week I'm going to start using Plotter to outline Book 3 in the Grimm's War, which is One Decisive Victory, and I'm probably going to spend a week doing that, and then I'll get started writing it. If plotting it works as well as plotting the superhero novel has worked, then I feel like, what's this, April? I feel like it could be done with my military sci-fi series by the end of May. And I know I was saying that I was going to do book 5 of Wraith in May, but if I can finish my military sci-fi series by the end of May, I want to do that. Then I can do book 5 of Wraith in June, plot it out, write it, and then conceivably plot it and write a new book every month. But we'll see. 1 week to plot, 3 weeks to write. Seems a little, but man, I can't tell you how liberating it is to finally find a plotting method that works for me, because I have so many people who are like, oh, they plot and they tell me about all the books they write, and I have a friend who's just like, he writes 2 or 3 books at a time, but he's a very effective plotter. And boy, if it doesn't kill me to see him do that, and know that I could be doing that if I could just figure out plotting. And I'm not the kind of person who, at least not anymore, I'm the kind of person who looks at something and says, oh, I'll never do that. I'm the kind of person that says, okay, I want to do that thing. How's everybody else doing that thing? So how can I do that thing? And one of the great dangers of writing, one of the great dangers of being an author, is comparing yourself against other authors or trying to do what other authors did. And the thing is like the specific methods of how authors become successful, you can't really copy those. What you can do though is copy how they got there, because I promise you every author got success the exact same way. And by every author, I mean every author who saw success after writing a number of books. Authors who just wrote a book and it became super successful, I'm very happy for them. I'm glad it didn't happen to me like that, because I failed a lot, and failing is how you know what you did right and what you did wrong, and what people like and what people don't like, and you learn more from failure than you do success. So I'm not sure I would be the person I am today had I written one book and it had just been super successful. But the one thing that all successful authors have in common is hard work. That's right. You thought being a writer was easy, just sitting around playing video games all day. Well, that's only if you wrote Theme of the Wind. Then you can sit around playing Celebrity D&D all day and still make the big bucks. But the rest of us, we have to get up every morning and we have to write. Or some people get up in the evening. I know Brandon Sanderson famously writes from like 9 o'clock at night to like 4 in the morning. Oh, that would kill me. I would die. I usually get up at 5. Excuse me. In work. I normally would be in bed right now, but it's Friday. I wanted to stay up a little bit later. And I haven't streamed in a while, so I thought, hey, this would be cool. And I really love this game. It's just so much fun. And it's probably the only game I can play where I can sit here and I can talk about my books and my career and everything and give people updates while playing a game. Pineapple coconut from Walmart. Clear American. Interesting fact. My wife told me about this. Ranch is not called ranch in the rest of the world. It's called Cool American. Which I think is hilarious. We are American. We are cool. Well, sometimes. By American, I mean like the country and the people and the, culture and stuff, not the government. Government blows. But that's another rant for another day that I don't want to get into. Everybody has their own opinions, and that is fine with me. So, where was I? Okay, so finish book 3 by May. Finish off Wraith, book 6 for Wraith, May, June, maybe? And then I should know about my published stuff through Simon & Schuster by then, whether it's going to be a go-ahead or not. I'm hoping it's go, and if it is, I'll be jumping up and down, telling everybody how exciting it was. If not, eventually I'll get something like that, because I've got an in with them now, and I've pitched several books at them. So eventually they're bound to say yes to one, if the one they already said yes to doesn't end up working. Which didn't occur to me that could be the case when they said yes. It didn't occur to me that they could then later go, you know what, we're going to hold off on that for right now. Because, gosh, I hope it's not my pitches weren't any good and they just don't know how to tell me that. No, they would tell me. They'd be like, listen, Jeff, can you just give us some new pitches because those ones aren't working. Right? That's what they would do, because that's what a professional would do. And, yeah, so there you go. There's the full update. I'm kind of booked through the end of the year because no matter what, I've got several books to write, like stacked up online. I keep promising people I'm going to write 3 Protector novels that are about the group, the Protectors. But I came with this teen team idea first, the Teen Warriors, and I really like them. I'm going to call them Teen Warriors. That's kind of cool, Teen Warriors. Not Teen Titans, right, because that's DC, and it's not the New Warriors. But Teen Warriors. The funny thing is I was talking to Rebecca, my wife, about this the other day, about how, like, a lot of people when they're writing superhero novels, like, oh, I'm going to do my take on Supergirl, or I'm going to do my take on this, or my take on that. And I don't really come up with heroes that way. To me, there's these roles that they fulfill, like Frank Castle's the vigilante, the gun-toting vigilante. So that's who the Wraith is. But the Wraith is also Shadow, and the Shadow's a vigilante. So it's more of a role. Like I want to write a vigilante character. I want to write my version of the Punisher. I did though for a long time want to write my version of Supergirl, but everybody else had done that so much, and like literally had done a version. They had all done a version of Supergirl or Superman. I ended up, by the time I got to be a good enough writer to have the time to do it, I was like, yeah, it's boring. It's been done. Not that there's anything original, but I mean, like, nothing's original, and there's what do I have to offer a take on Supergirl that, say other people do not have. And the answer is nothing. Nothing yet that I've come up with. So, but I think I have lots of really interesting heroes in the Full Metal Superheroverse. And I'm about to add 5 new ones that are exciting, based out of Philadelphia, of all places. I realized that my last 2 books are based out of the South, though Wraith did foray into Detroit. So I figured I'd come up to the North. And again, don't do what other people do. Lots of people base their heroes out of the Pacific Northwest because a lot of writers are from the Pacific Northwest or live there. And so I figured Philadelphia would be great. Also, anytime I can throw out Ben Franklin references, I'm good with that. He used to tour the world like a rock star, showing emperors and kings and princesses and whatever how electricity worked. And he was probably the most famous person of his time. When he died, there was a state funeral for him in France, among also like a day of mourning in other countries too. So it was pretty interesting. People actually fought in the U.S. over who would carry his casket. Like fought like duels. I mean, like seriously, it was just crazy. Oh, hey, Melf, I got Melf. Sweet. Okay, I'm gonna lose some DPS here, but I prefer him to her. I lost a lot of DPS there. That's alright. I don't really care for her too much. She's powerful though. She's super powerful. But yeah. So I'm going to Teen Warriors. I like that, Teen Warriors. So yeah. So I don't know if I'm gonna write Teen Warriors as a book series or just do like a chapter a week and put it on Wattpad and see how it goes. See if I can't draw some people in that way. I have a friend named Rachel Ox who had a lot of great success on Wattpad writing superhero stuff. And then I'm also going to do my Protectors books, at the end of the year, hopefully, if I'm not overwhelmed with other things I have to do. And also, it's entirely possible, and I have to be realistic about this, there's two possibilities for my military sci-fi stuff when it comes out. It's going to be a success, it's going to be a failure. And if it's a success, great, they're immediately going to want me to write more. And then being a publisher, that trumps my self-published stuff. So I'm hoping that before they release them, I'll get a chance to write these other books. Because my friend Rick Partlow, who wrote Dropship Trooper, Contact Front, man, his books are hugely successful. I mean, they're 1,500 reviews. It's only been out since, I'm going to say middle of last year. April last year, I think, so a year. Hugely successful books. He's got 7 out now. He did 3 initially. They immediately contracted him for 3 more. And then, I think they kind of would have happily kept going. So it was pretty cool. Pretty cool for him to get that. Yeah, I'm going to keep Melf. And so, I have his little springs. He actually throws you through levels. He actually advances you levels. So yeah, if they come back and say, hey, listen, these books are really successful, they're selling like hotcakes, there are 100 in the store or whatever, we need 3 more. I'm gonna have to write 3 more. I'm gonna put everything else on hold, other than anything I have committed to publisher-wise. So that's why I'm wrapping up Wraith with 6 books. Is I don't want to be leaving people hanging for another year like I unfortunately did before. So we'll wrap Wraith up. We'll get some new series started. And I won't release anything unless I've got all 3 of them finished. Unless I've got like a finished story arc for people to read. And then, yeah, because I think the next couple of years are probably going to be me writing a lot of traditionally published books, as opposed to my self-published stuff. But, it's really cool, because then I'll have more people reading my things. And I'll have people who are, who wouldn't read self-published books or any published books. Maybe they'll read my Trad Pub stuff and be like, oh hey, this guy's pretty cool. He's not too bad. I should read some more of his stuff. And I know military sci-fi and superheroes seems like it's very incongruous, but it is what it is. I never intended to write superheroes exclusively. I always wanted to write military sci-fi. But now that I'm getting a Trad Pub, I don't have a lot of control. I may not always have control over exactly the genre I'm writing in. So I'm going to have to accept that people are... there'll be people who read me because they like my books, and the people who read me because they like my stories, or the people who read me because they like me. And the ones who like the story, the specific story and characters, aren't probably going to come over from, say, superheroes to military sci-fi, and vice versa. And that's, that's going to have to be okay. the I'll be all right. And but no matter what, I'm never gonna be like, well, okay, I've been writing superheroes now for 10 years or whatever. I'm done. Never writing them again. No, not happening. Not happening. Oh man, challenge complete. Okay. And I'm not really sure. Okay. Destroy 75 distractions during aimers variants for free plays. Use 150 ultimate attacks during a merc variant or free play. Alright, well, I'll just keep going, I guess. Defeat 100 bosses. Right, so I'm always be writing superheroes, and obviously, as I write other books, my pace might slow down a little bit, but it'll be okay. Alright, it's almost midnight here, so I think I'm going to wrap it up here. As usual, if you have any questions, shoot me an email, Jeffrey Haskell, jeffrey.haskell@gmail.com. Contact me through my website, jeffreyhaskell.com. Find me on Facebook, Jeffrey H. Haskell. You see a trend here. My personal Facebook page is Jeff J.H. Haskell. I should probably change that just because I don't have that book out anymore. But for a while there, I had a book on how to become a self-published author, how to become a successful self-published author called Living the Dream. Or no. Writing for a living, living the impossible dream. There we go. Because it is an impossible dream for a lot of people. And I like inspiring people. And this is something everybody can do. They just have to be willing to do the work. And there's a lot of work. Come find me, ask me questions, friend me. I love talking to people. I'm an extrovert, unlike a lot of authors. So if you have questions about writing, or questions about my schedule, or questions about your writing, how to be an author, anything like that, please feel free to look me up. Shoot me an email, come talk to me. Don't come to my house, so that's weird. That's just weird. And then we'll be good to go. Alright everybody, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And also don't forget that, let's see here. Oh, that's not going to work. Don't forget that Arsenal is 99 cents. And it's the first book one of the Full Metal Superhero series. And then Wraith book 5, Apex Predator, is out. And that's the book I wrote during the 24-hour live stream. Alright everybody, you have a great day. Take care of yourselves.